So no, we didn't go to Machu Picchu. No, we didn't go to Nazca Lines. No, we didn't go to Lake Titicaca. No, we didn't go to the Amazon. Look what happened to this guy. He went to the Amazon. Anyway, no, we didn't go to El Dorado. But we did go see a lot of birds in Peru. Peru is a great place. World-class destination for birding. A fifth of the world's bird species are found in Peru. Almost 1,800 species of birds plus. We saw about 300, so we were happy with that. So these are the Bino slingers of Peru here. Like I said, I'm John All. We got Mary Muchowski here.
La Chicha.
Got Skip Auger and Lisa Winslow here, and then we've got our friends online. Sorry, we've got Don Garcia online, and we've also got our guides that hopefully calling in here. Stanley Boynton, former Peace Corps volunteer who, during his time in the Peace Corps, actually developed tourism, helped develop tourism for undeveloped areas, and is doing the same for this area. So a lot of the places that we've been, we didn't see any foreign tourists while we were there. So yeah, not places that most birding tours go, or foreign tourists in general. Although there was a bit of Peruvian tourism there. So Peru, and this is our guide, Alejandro, our bird guide, Alejandro Tello, who is um, I'll just read part of the blurb from this book here. He is naturalist, photographer, and consultant for conservation and research projects related to birds, wildlife, and wetlands in Peru. So it was great since he actually helped protect a lot of these areas, and some of them are pretty recently protected in the last 20 years or so.
And he took us to a couple of those places. We got to
Yes.
see his work.
Right.
This is his book that we have here. Anybody wants to look through it?
So South America. So Peru is about twice the size of Texas. It's just barely south of the equator there. So there's not a lot of variation in temperatures, pretty much the same temperatures all year round. They do have a rainy season from December through March. So we were there in November, right at the end of the dry season. So we didn't get the rain, but the mating season is actually after the rainy season, just like here, right? So actually there, which is technically their fall, but their birds nest in the spring. Our spring, like they are here now. So they weren't super active while we were there, but even so, we saw 300 species, yeah, in a couple of weeks. So Lima is, or
These are the three departments, which are kind of like states that we went to.
yes, if you go back, slide here. So we just went basically from here to here. That's all we did in 2 weeks. Yeah. But you notice there's some big mountains up there. Yeah.
Here's the Andes, the top
The,
of the Andes right here.
yeah, the Andes go up to 22,000 feet in Peru, and we made it up to about 16,000 feet.
In
And
Lima, they had lots of murals just all over their buildings and stuff. It was really cool to see.
yeah, so we stayed in the fancy area of Lima called Miraflores. So very touristy area. And Peru, if you don't know, is very affordable. So I think $50. This is like the most expensive hotel room that we had the whole time. We had our own rooms. So uh, and Lima is over 11 million people. So a lot of people in this little narrow strip of desert that's on the west side of the Andes. So unlike California here, where we get the rain from the ocean, their rain comes from the Amazon. So yeah, it's just a little strip of dirt where 65% of the population live along the ocean line.
And we went to a few little city parks while we were there.
Our first hummingbird of Well, we didn't see all of them, but there are 133 species of hummingbirds in Peru.
The Amazilia hummingbird, the long-tailed mockingbird were kind of like ours, just all over the city area.
And of course, cats. We went to a museum near here, and there was a cat in there, so I was petting this cat, and then I walked out of the museum, and the cat followed me out of the museum, and then I realized the cat didn't live there. These cats just go everywhere. So cats and dogs have free reign in Peru. They might belong to somebody, people might feed them, but they just run wild in the streets. And yeah, this is
Little
the
cat
cat
hotel.
park here. Yeah, people come to feed the feral cats there.
And the rufous-collared sparrow was like almost everywhere we went. That was like the one bird that was almost everywhere, even at 15,000 feet.
Yeah. And this is so this is the bird called Tico Tico, if you know the song. That's the Tico Tico bird there. And it's everywhere. It's from Mexico to Tierra del Fuego.
Yeah. These are some of the other cool birds we saw. Saffron finch. This vermilion flycatcher is the sooty morph, so it doesn't look anything like ours. We were kind of puzzled on this one for a while till we kind of, I think our guide finally told us what it was. Alejandro finally told us. In Lima, they had a COVID memorial, which was pretty sobering. They put up these photos of every doctor that died during COVID.
551.
551. So this was all lined this way, and then it was lined all on the backside also. It was pretty sobering to see that. Apparently, they had gotten some vaccines from another country that were not viable. So it was very sad to see that.
Yeah, so our first big trip was just a couple hours south of Lima to the Isla Chuncho and Pucasana, barely an island. This is actually part of the island there, and that's not. So, but pretty spectacular. Still pretty. This is kind of a resort area for people from Lima. But we did see some pretty spectacular birds. Yeah, so there's the harbor there, and you can see this is people are buying these houses for to be near the ocean, and they're basically squares of dirt. Yeah, it was really interesting to see that.
And when we were going down there, I didn't
There's
really
no plants on these mountains at all.
I didn't really look at a lot of the species. I just wanted to go and see whatever we saw. But when I did kind of look, I saw that we were going to see a tern, and I'm all, oh yeah, okay, a black and white tern, whatever. These are the Inca terns, and they were so beautiful, and there was a lot of them at this place here.
I think Salvador Dali was inspired by that. A stash there, very cool terns.
And our other special bird that we weren't expecting, they have penguins there.
Yeah, Humboldt penguins. And penguins can fly, not very far, but they can fly. So got a shot. They have really fancy cormorants over there. Fancier than ours.
It seemed like they had very many species of gull at this place anyway. Belchers and kelp gull. This was one of the refuges I think that Alejandro helped with. And they had this nice statue of this bird, which is like their little special bird.
Anatomically correct.
Many colored rush tyrant.
Fancy bird.
And then wren-like rushbird. We were getting kind of confused with all of the hyphenated names. But the Andean gull is just a very large gull, and these are all Franklin's gull down in here. And then they had these really pretty gulls called gray-headed, something like that. We saw a lot of oyster catchers that had bands on their legs, so I think Don turned some of them in to whoever does the banding thing. Or we turned them into eBird, I think.
So we spent most of our time here on the east side of the Andes in the rainforest from about 2,500 to 7,500 feet in elevation. So we didn't get down into the lowlands, so it was perfect temperature all the time, pretty much 70s and 80s or 60s and 70s. into the 80s just a little bit, but yeah, very compact area that we were in there, but still takes a lot of time to drive around.
Yeah. This was one of the first places we stayed once we got over the hill, which was a 8-hour bus ride at night, overnight.
Very comfortable buses, though, much more comfortable than airplanes. So
And this is the area where we would eat, and this is one of their ponds. They had 2 ponds. So we saw a lot of birds just right there.
Los Ositos, this is called, which means little bears in Spanish. A little bit of a false advertising. They were advertising these spectacled bears everywhere, which we never got to see. But that's the one species they have in South America. The one species of bear, and this is the area they have them in. We might have missed them, so keep your eyes open. They might show up in the slides. I don't know.
The little striated heron looks kind of like our green heron, and the speckled chocolatas were often we saw them quite a bit.
Yeah, and heard them. They're very
Yeah,
noisy.
yeah.
Very noisy chickens.
The blue-gray tanagers were also very common around the area, but somehow I didn't get a good picture. We tried to use all of our pictures in this show, so we don't have a bunch of really cool birds that we saw because we just never got pictures of them.
They have 186 species of tanagers in Peru.
Yeah,
I believe that.
and there's some cool looking tanager.
Mhm.
These were also at the place where we were staying, Los Ositos, was the barred antshrikes and the banana quits.
Some of the local culture here, your family vehicle. Apparently they recycle urea as fuel. You can get coca in the beer, or they literally are just selling huge sacks of coca leaves on the storefronts, which really, it doesn't have much of a stimulant effect if you just chew the leaves, but it was effective somewhat for combating elevation sickness. So we did drink the tea for that. This is our jungle cruiser vehicle. You can see better in the next picture there. This guy made this vehicle here. It's a custom-made vehicle.
Our driver made that.
You go anywhere in that?
Then we went over towards the lake, a lake called Okanal.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of different seed eaters that we got, of course. They're hard to get pictures of too.
Yes, Laguna El Ocanal in Villarrica. Yeah, home to a lot of fun birds. A purple gallinule. They were all feeding their babies. Very social flycatchers. Come up to say hi. And we got to see, next slide, these rufous-sided crakes, which are like rails. So we were very lucky to get good glimpses of those. They actually came out, say hi, and got pictures of those. Snail kites, specialize in eating snails, of course.
And we saw lots of swallows.
Least grebe, the smallest grebe in the world. They're so cute.
We also saw a lot of swallowtail kites, but I don't think anybody got good pictures.
It rained one day, so a lot of places we visited were coffee plantations. So coffee is a huge income crop there, and it was nice to see that some of these plantations were incorporating wildlife habitat into their plantation and charging ecotourists to come and bird there. So it was nice to see that, because definitely not everybody's doing that. In general, they just clear it and clear the forest and plant coffee plantations. So we've got some yellow-billed caciques here, very loud big loud birds with fancy nests like that. You got to see them flying in and out of the nest there, and roadside hawks there, everywhere, kind of like our red-tailed hawks, I guess. No, we also saw oropendulas, and they kind of cohabitated. They were very close in neighboring trees or the same trees, so it was interesting. This is a Bosque de Cholet, and so up in real cloud forest here at 7,500 feet. Um, so the forest is very dense and it's hard to see anything. So if you're walking down a trail, you really can't see any birds. So most of the birding we actually did is from roads. And this was a main thoroughfare there. And as you can see from the sign there, you're obligated to use your horn as you go around the corner so people you know you're there. So just cars whizzing by and honking their horns. And there's a whole language in Peru of what different honks mean. So that was an interesting birding experience there. Some more fancy birds. Buff-browed foliage gleaner, blue-banded toucanet. And Mary got this picture. I don't know how she got it because most of my pictures look like that. There's the toucanet in there. So really challenging birding at times. I heard they come out if you have Fruit Loops, but we didn't have it. This is this is probably one of the fanciest hummingbirds. There are some pretty fancy hummingbirds there. This is the long-tailed sylph here. Masked flower piercers, a whole bunch of flower piercers. I think those are also tanagers. And they have a little hook on their bills, and they're actually nectar thieves. They're robbers. They destroy the flower to get the nectar out of it. So down to 6,000 feet here. This is not really tourist area for foreigners, but Peruvians go there, and they think so. This area was actually settled by Germans way back in the late 1800s, I think, and so they have a whole German thing going on there, which is a little odd to see. And we didn't see anybody who looked like that. So. And we didn't see the cock of the rock, unfortunately. We ate at a restaurant where he said, "Oh yeah," the guy said, "Oh yeah, it was across the street last week," but we didn't get to see it. And also sampled some of the local firewater. Literally, that means aguardiente means firewater, and yeah, not recommended. But lots of German beer out there also.
Those were all our cabins. And then Don had another one somewhere else.
And of course, every hotel has a cat or 10 and dogs.
Another roadside hawk there. Silver-beaked tanager. This is a female. I think we have a picture of a male somewhere in here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it wasn't breeding season for the native birds, but that didn't seem to bother these peacocks. They were going at it.
So I think this is where that phrase "shake your tail feathers" comes from.
That's what Lee Charles was singing about.
I'm gonna put this on. I think I'll put it up on the AltaCal YouTube channel also. But if you can hear these feathers shaking, he just shakes them and they go. Pretty interesting. Went to another forest area. Female rufous booted racket tail. I think we have a picture.
Yeah, we got the male later. So that's another very fancy one. No racket tail on the female. Some more tanagers.
Yeah, there was so many cool challengers, and of course they're hard to get pictures of. More hummingbirds, a little white-bellied wood star, glass-winged butterfly was pretty cool.
This is the one real eco lodge that we stayed at that was out of town and 7,500 feet. So nice elevation, nice and cool up there. This guy is a French American bird researcher with Cornell. So we were lucky to have him help guide us while he was there.
These are our cabins, my cabin and Lisa's cabin. Or Dawn's, I can't remember what you said.
Yeah. So I'm really proud of this picture because these birds would be calling all the time, all day long, and you just wouldn't see them because they're hiding in the forest. But and you did see them for a brief instant, and so I did finally get a good picture of that one there. And also we got to see a screech owl at night. So they have versions of our same birds we have. Um, but different species. And also gourmet food there. Yeah, we had lights and hot water in our rooms, but we couldn't like charge. They didn't have like full electricity or Wi-Fi in the rooms, so kind of
Just
a rustic
yeah,
but fancy experience at the same
just at the
time.
main lodge.
All the
Mhm.
rooms were powered by car batteries.
Mhm. So here's a typical trail there. You can see it's dark and you can't see hardly anything in there. You never know, you don't know what's in there. Some slimy ferns. So it's a wild jungle in there. Some big yeah, big fancy birds, some of the big ones.
Yeah, we took a walk. We were just walking the road all the way kind of down to the Eco Lodge. And this was just along the road. We stopped and saw all these kinds of great birds.
Golden-headed quetzal there. Got the blue-banded toucanet there. The Andean motmot. You can't really see the whole tail there.
Yeah.
Hard to get the bird, and I didn't have any pictures of the whole tail either. But it kind of has the racket tails there.
And
And
yeah, the staghorn beetle was probably about this big.
big bugs too. Yeah.
This is a masked trogon. It's the same bird in different light.
So they used to have a zip line at this place, but they couldn't compete with the big zip lines that like go across the river now. And but we thought that was just fine because this canopy walk was we thought it was more bird friendly and better for observing wildlife. And it was interesting to get up into the canopy and see what all was going on up there because there's just a whole different world up there.
And I think I got this picture of the Peruvian tyrannulet when we were about halfway up. It was a good place to see him at eye level.
So yeah, just lots of mating butterflies up there, orchids, so many different species of orchids.
They had just discovered a new species there, right?
Yeah, discovering new species all the time there. Bromeliads, plants growing on plants everywhere. Here's Oripendula. Finally, there were a couple of species we saw, but this is the dusky green Oripendula, and can look at the huge hanging nests. Very distinctive there.
In kind of colonies.
Hmm. And there's the male rufous-booted racket-tail with his little Uggs there. And uh, didn't see a lot of lizards and things like that because it wasn't very warm there. And so, but we did see that whirl-tailed iguana. So yeah, just a shot of the jungle there, walking around in our boots.
That they left us.
Yeah, we walked around in rubber boots. White-eared solitaire there, and yeah, we weren't down in where you see a lot of monkeys, but we did get to see these Andean saddleback tamarins. So very cute. San Ramon is heading down to 2,500 feet. Tourist town, mostly aimed at Peruvians who have fantasies of native women, I guess. We saw an actress, I guess you call her, dancing on the street, trying to get people to come in a restaurant dressed like that. Um, yeah, so, and next slide, you can see this pretty buff guy there.
This was a common little taxi type that they had all over the place.
Mhm. And at our hotel, there's a Peace Corps volunteer living there, Italy, and she was working with the local water district, trying to uh, talk to people about why they should pay for water purification, pay a couple dollars a month to have clean water. People didn't really understand why they had to pay for water. So that's the kind of place.
Red-capped cardinal was a yard bird there.
Yeah, so this was a great yard. They had feeders there, which they didn't have in any of the other places that we stayed. So yeah, there was kind of a pet there. A banana quit on a banana plant. He's trying to quit, but he can't. And here's a pendula nest that I guess had some babies in it, but unfortunately it was predated by somebody before we got there. Some very friendly animals here, as you can see. One took a liking to Lisa, speckled chachalaca there, and I got a butterfly. Really like the taste of Skip's sweat. Second, this is at Hacienda Amarique, another coffee plantation there. And we went to that specialized in manakins. They had at least 3 species of manakins that they posted having there. Which are fun animals. This is the round-tailed mannequin. You can see his little yellow booties. It really wasn't
And I
mating season, but
I slowed that video down, way down.
he was practicing his
They're so
mating,
fast.
his mating dance. They're famous for doing these fancy mating dances on branches. So you can see that on planet Earth and so on. Peruvian hairless dog.
They have like little mohawks and a little bit on their tail there. But we saw one. I don't know if we put that picture in, but somebody had put like a little sun jacket on because they get like sunburn.
Yeah, and they have that gene that makes them hairless. The same gene actually makes them lose their teeth also. So that's why his tongue was hanging out. Yeah. Didn't see a lot of woodpeckers, but finally we got to see a golden olive woodpecker here and a magpie tanager. It looks like a magpie, but it's not a magpie, it's a tanager.
Looks like a cuckoo to me. Another toucanet, southern emerald.
I just love the name for this little tiny bird, the white-bellied pygmy tyrant. Lots of tyrants there.
And lots of different kinds of wood creepers, earth creepers, foliage gleaners. This was one of the tanagers I really wanted to see when I went down. I did look through some of the tanagers and saw some pictures. He was really far away, but that's the best picture
Not a swallow.
I got.
Bluish fronted. Yeah, where's the blue? It's like our white fronted geese. It's got the blue on a little spot of blue on the top there. Barrel spangled. Sorry, that's not a better picture, but it's a spectacular bird there.
Yeah, that was really cool. There are spine tails we heard a lot more than we saw.
Got to ride around in the back of this truck here.
On really windy roads, so they were hooting all around all the
And
corners.
Steve.
And Mary somehow saw this tiny little hummingbird nest from the back of the truck.
While we're driving under it.
Yeah. So lineated woodpecker also there.
Yeah.
So many butterflies.
So many butterflies at Hacienda Armorique. That was probably one of the best places for
Yeah.
butterflies.
The blue morpho, we didn't get any great pictures. There are a lot of different species of blue morphos, so the smaller ones and the 88 butterflies, or the whole bunch of them is 88 butterflies. This is a 98 butterfly. Yeah. This was a real treat after being in the rainforest and not being able to see anything. We're just seeing things briefly, being in the nice open country where you could actually see all the birds. So, so above the tree line here, over 13,000 feet here. Vicuña, the wild version of the llama there, along with the alpacas, the domesticated alpacas.
They aren't really able to raise the vicuñas like any of the other ones,
They can't domesticate them.
but some French company has the rights to shear them
So they round them up and shear them and
and then let them go
again.
back.
Yeah. So this is a typical town. Dogs sleeping in the street, and 3 dogs, just 3 dogs, 4 dogs in that street. Count the dogs. Yeah. Peruvian Sierra finch. and flamingos.
Flamingo
Surprise.
at 15 or 13,000 feet.
Yeah. This is also home to the endemic Junin grebe, which we didn't see because we couldn't get out on the water, but we did get to see this plumbeous rail with a baby, little fuzzball there, yellow-billed teal, and I guess it was raining. Draggled white tufted grebe there. Poor guy. And then some of the cutest geese in the world, gotta be Andean geese. Tuna teal there. Lots of Andean birds, lots of endemic birds. I don't know many, but Andean lapwing there. I'll just read the names off. Andean flicker and the negrito, Andean negrito. Synclodies were fun to watch doing their displays. And since they don't have trees, they're not tree creepers, they're earth creepers there.
Got to see a wild herd of the viper.
Yeah. And unfortunately, since they don't have trees, the people harvest peat from the lake for fuel. So that's very destructive. The habitat takes a long time for the peat to grow. So that's another area that Alejandro is helping to protect. Cliff flycatcher?
Yes, there was really steep cliff over on this side too. They somehow spotted the cliff flycatcher. And it was really far away, but did you get that picture?
Yes.
I think, yeah, John. That's Dawn over there with the waterfall.
Mhm.
This was my favorite bird of the whole trip, the torrent ducks.
Gorgeous ducks. They're in this river alongside the highway. So we were basically traveling the central highway over the Andes. And yeah, unfortunately, the roadside is where people dump their garbage. I mean, it's not like what you think of litter. It's like it's like just full. Just the gutter's just full of garbage, and a lot of that gets into the river also. So it's kind of sad to see that, but they seem to be doing okay.
Then we went over to Acabamba, and this this is Gustavo right here, and this is his artwork. He's famous artist, was showing in Paris, I think, just before we met him. I think Skip was looking to buy this one.
Yeah, so this is a hummingbird feeding off of giant cactus, which grows there. That is a hedgerow planted by people 1,000 years ago or so. So quite a bit of history there. Oh, I was going to ask you about that. I think that's the Chihuango threat. Anyway,
Sorry, Alejandro. We don't know how to say that one.
it might not even be it.
I know you.
Golden-billed saltator there, and so here are some of these old walls there.
Yeah, Gustavo told us that this was a pre-Incan structure right here.
There's the cactus there with the giant hummingbirds on them.
And the picture on the left was from a cell phone from about 40 feet away. The cell phones are getting so good now. I didn't take a camera with me because I was trying to travel light. And it uses AI to kind of interpolate. So if you zoom in, there's like parts that are wrong. But it's identifiable from that far away.
It's actually, yeah,
Pretty neat.
yeah, but it's missing that
Yeah.
part. So it's tail. Yeah, interesting.
There was a lot of agriculture in this region. This is one of the things you find on the menu.
Guinea pigs.
They eat very well before they get eaten, though. They are eating broccoli, I think, and cauliflower.
Did you try one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, did. Not a lot of meat on the bones.
Like rabbit, probably wouldn't do it again. Harder to eat than
like wings,
bones.
more like wings. Yeah.
And this top right one is kind of mixed crops. There's all different kinds of crops like right in there. These are potatoes. We did see some tractors, but a lot of stuff was done by hand. up on steep slopes. Like this is ag right here. And
So
these are the bags, and these are the people that you see up in here. And then, of course, the dog that's always.
so it's characters that some probably go back 1,000 years or more. And of course, we got run out of town as usual.
This was just an overview of how much agriculture and up on the hills. And this field looks like it was done by tractor, but it was done by hand. That person was
See.
doing it while we were there. Do you want to say anything about the
No, that's-
kissing?
They love their I love their agriculture. Here's the view from 16,000 feet. And yeah, unfortunately, this area is home to one of the most polluted places in the world. Of course, unfortunately, where they mine lead, copper, and zinc, and sulfur dioxide, mining and lead smelting activities up here. So, yeah, but still wildlife up there.
Dogs everywhere. Cat up at 16
Yeah,
feet.
even yeah, cats running
I
around.
think I was the only one who got to see the black siskin.
Yeah, so these things called bofidales, which I'd never heard of before, but they're high altitude peat forming wetlands formed by streams, springs, melting glaciers, and they're home to a great variety of cushion plants, which are really interesting. And I put a lot of them on iNaturalist, and yeah, I was ended up being the #1 observer of one of those plants because I put it on twice. So not a lot of people have been to that.
I
Not a
can
lot of
put mine on
foreigners
3
anywhere
times.
have been there looking at plants, and yeah, so really
And this
really
was-
interesting, adapted to be very harsh conditions, growing
Yeah.
very low to the ground.
This was the shepherd's dog, the Yama shepherd.
Okay.
The bog was really beautiful, or
Mm.
the Bofadale. And then this was our star of the show there.
The diademed sandpiper-plover with its tiara. That's what a diadem is, so very fancy bird.
And we got there, probably went 20 yards and saw it. Oh, Andean lapwing again there, and Cumbius sierra finches.
You actually got to see this llama being born. So, yeah, it just falls right out of the mom and then starts to walk. Pretty amazing. Not very well at first, but pretty good. I can, very impressive there. Yeah, some of the tiny plants there. That one I found out later is a blister plant or a burn leaf plant, and the juice from the plant causes really nasty blisters. So good thing I didn't break a leaf on that. Yeah, that's a little pygmy owl. He's got the eye spots on the back of his head. I don't remember that.
I think I might have some pictures.
This is so here now we're on the east side of the Andes, and this is a dry side. So this is like chaparral, like our chaparral, but it's at 8,000 feet here. Yeah, that's a really
So I stole this photo from the web from eBird because none of us could get a picture of that one, but he was so cute. And they have northern beardless tyrannulates in Arizona. So this is the southern one, and we're always being watched by dogs.
part of the culture store there, and yeah, tuk-tuks. So this is our last day out of Lima, back to Lima again, and a couple hours south. Wanted to do a day of birding, so Alejandro took us to a place that he helped protect. It's only been a reserve for about 20 years, and this is what most of it. This is what the coastal strip looks like. It's basically dirt, no plants that we could see, at least at the end of the dry season there, except for in this little oasis here, Lomas de Asia. And there were birds out there, even in the dirt. Peruvian thick knees there, really goofy looking bird.
So yeah, even our last day, we were getting some pretty good birds.
And at the oases with the flowers, the hummingbirds, and it's called the oasis hummingbird. Peruvian sheartail, croaking ground dove. And this is one of the murals from the reserve there, and a collared warbling finch.
Yeah, they had a really nice education center there.
And it's fog. It's an oasis because the fog gets trapped in this little area here and turns green, but that usually happens around May. So we're not there at the greenest time, but yeah, and we had some good food in Lima. So
Any questions?
although some of the other diners were a little bit suspicious, if you ask me. So, any questions? Yeah, yeah, Spanish. We didn't get to a lot of places that had high native populations. So it wasn't like when you go to Machu Picchu and you see a lot of people dressed in traditional dress. We didn't see any of that really. And speaking the native languages, yeah. Yeah.
That's great.
All right. Thank you all. Thanks all for coming.
Thanks, you guys, for putting that together. That was really fun memories. Good group.
May I ask a question? May I ask a question? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Did your remedy work for altitude sickness that you had discussed?
The coca?
Yep.
Yes.
It seemed to, yeah. I just drank mine in a tea. I didn't chew the leaves. I just poured some hot water into my
I just put
hydro
the leaves in my water bottle and drank that all
And
day.
the tea tastes nice. I mean, it's not a.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Had a problem
The
with
coca
any.
beer, yeah.
Oh, well, sunset.
I'll say something. Was that Don?
A big dove.
I was looking at the sunset.
Mm.
Oops.
Thank you.
Any other questions from home or?
Did you get a little bit more detailed discussion of each bird as you went through each day, as far as its habitat and various other things? I know you're going very quickly and just showing us what you did see, but was there more in-depth discussion?
While we were out there, we spent a lot of time looking for some birds that we got the habitat down really well and we could hear them really well. So we often didn't even see them.
And so in the evening, we'd sit down with Alejandro, John had laptop, and we would go through our birds that we saw for the day.
Ah,
So
that's
the
great.
benefits of having a guide.
Yeah, and he
Uh-huh.
was staying with us, so.
Yeah. It was-
And I spared you all my plant pictures, so you're welcome. It would have been 2 hours with the plants, with all the plants,
And
at
all,
least.
and all my bug pictures.
And the bug pictures, yeah.
Great, thank you.
Thank you for those that are online. You can end it. Be online.
I have a question, John. I sure don't remember seeing that spectacled bear in the restaurant. What?
Wow, I didn't notice that either. Dang. Good.
Awesome. That
I don't know how to stop it.
the trip was so amazing. Stanley put it together and Alejandro, and it just was incredible how nicely they took us from low elevation to high elevation and acclimated us all the way and had the 5 or 6 different habitats. We really just got to see so much and a lot of the local culture as well. So